Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geek'd Out. I am your host, Carter Anderson. Hello to all of my geeks and geekettes and all of the geeks that identify with they and their and them pronouns. Good to see each and every one of you. So happy to be here. This is going to be an episode where we talk about the hit show starring Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad. Some of you might be like, oh man, well, that's not really like a geek show. Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. You can geek out on anything. And you can definitely geek out on meth, okay? Because to create meth requires science. So boom, geeky. Brain power, though. They have brain power, though. I have a couple people that are going to be talking with me about this wonderful show. My first guest, a very good friend of mine, super funny guy. Give it up for Craig Fergola, everybody.
Yeah, don't ever call me Ozzy Moon.
That is like the worst insult ever. Like someone called me Ozzy Moon, and I knocked that guy out.
I did. And you were right to do so, Carter. You were.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't got hands. Shut up.
Yeah, I have. All right, so Craig, I was just going to ask you like some questions, but now let's just talk shit about Ozzy Moon. You ever notice that Ozzy Moon is a terrible human being?
Yeah, and an even worse comic, if that's possible.
He is a worse comic.
Yeah.
He's the worst comic. Have you ever noticed that he is the reason for ISIS?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is the reason for ISIS. I wouldn't say that Ozzy Moon was responsible for 9/11. But that's only because it goes
had
without
something
saying.
to do with it, though. Yeah,
he was definitely there.
It had something to do with it, for sure.
Yeah, he was a part of it. But also, how are you doing, man? What's been going on with you?
I'm doing good. Just we got to do some comedy last night. That was cool.
Social distance show, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was an outdoor show over in Leander.
Yeah.
Wasn't even on the bill. Got to close it out, so that was cool. Just went to watch.
That's awesome, man. That's
been doing a podcast with my friend Mike Hudak, GFY Social Club. Everyone hashtag join the club, so go check that out. I'm just ready to talk some Breaking Bad.
Awesome, man. Good. Well, happy to have you on. Our next guest, he's a real awful human being. We've mentioned him a couple times before already. Give it up for Ozzy Moon, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How you doing, huh?
You know, God, that was an awful. I don't know what the accent that was, but it was the worst thing ever. Like that Italian accent gave me IBS. Like that was a terrible.
It's your inferior genes giving you IBS, bud.
Fuck you, God. So how have you been, Ozzy? What's been going on with you, bro?
Shit, man, we've been good. We're actually starting up season 3 of Borderplex Hustle. We just wrapped up season 2.
Wow.
And we're getting that started. We're gonna start doing live performances. So we're trying to get bands in here to like maybe jam like 3 or 4 songs for us, and then we'll probably move on from there. But other than that, just working.
Where can people see your show, Borderplex?
Y'all can see Borderplex Hustle on Pornhub.com. So you would do Pornhub.com/Borderplex Hustle. And then, go ahead and check the show out. We showcase lots of local musicians here in just Texas and Texas in general, you know, and just bands, rappers, people that you probably wouldn't bump into had you not seen the show. So we're trying to put on as many people as possible, and it's coming out pretty good. We just got some t-shirts, so we're going to start selling those. I would wear it, but I already sold out.
That's awesome, man. That's really great to hear. So you heard it here first, folks. You can watch Borderplex Hustle on Pornhub, so you can get your jerk on, you can get your flicking on, and then you can get your laugh on. All at the same time. So it's a great time. It's a great time to be alive, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 2020 has brought us a lot of like challenges. A lot of terrible things have happened. We've lost a lot of wonderful people, but at least you can jerk off and watch some good quality comedy at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into the first subtopic of our Breaking Bad episode. The very first topic is, why on earth would you start a meth lab when your brother-in-law works for the DEA? Like literally, like I love this show. I love this show a lot. It's I think it's one of the better shows to come out in like the later 2000s. Easily one of the better shows. Definitely one of the better shows to come out on the channel AMC. Like it's a great channel, but you know some of their shows are all right. Some of them like I don't really fuck with Walking Dead. Is what I'm trying to say. But this show is amazing. But it literally makes no sense. This is not something that would happen. It's not a practical thing to do. It makes no sense to literally see your brother-in-law raid a fucking meth lab and then think, you know what, I'm gonna get in the meth business. There are so many. He's literally a genius. He's a genius. He's a chemical genius. He could have been working on the thing to fix cancer or some shit like that. But also if anyone ever like finds a cure for cancer, the people who make the medicine for like cancer will literally kill you. Like, don't fucking do it. Like, it's not okay. But guys, does anyone have any theories? Can you help me out here? We'll start with you, Craig. Why would someone do this?
Well, I think the biggest one is money. You know, you see the scene in the storage unit where like there's just stacks of cash. I mean, he's trying to make money for his family. And you gotta remember when the show started, it wasn't talking about like, you know, supplying the entire Southwest with meth. He was just trying to make some extra money for his family. His brother works at the DEA. They're not busting like local shitheads down the street with, you know, a meth lab in their kitchen. They're higher up the food chain. So yeah, I know Hank worked for the DEA, but I don't think he ever thought it was going to get to the scale where it was, where they were, you know, had a super lab and they were making, you know, $1 million a month or whatever it was. This was supposed to just be like to supply his family with some cash when he died, because he was a teacher and teachers make shit for money. So I think that was the ultimate factor to get him going.
Yeah, that's fair. Ozzy, what about you, sir?
Well, fun fact, Carter, meth is actually the cure for cancer. So if you got that going on.
Oh, shit. Oh, well, why didn't they say anything?
Oh, well, dude, come on. Fucking hydrochloroquine cures COVID. Let's not be silly.
Fucking. Okay, well, Craig brings...
Don't said it! Just kidding.
Jesus. Okay, but for real, though, like, do you think that, like, this was, like, a sound decision on his part? Obviously, we know now, like, after watching the entire series, maybe not so much, but at the time, like, when it first came up, would you have done this in his situation?
Well, because I think what the main thing is that Pinkman was the house that got raided, right? Yeah. I felt like if it was anybody else but Pinkman, he would have fucking just brushed it off. You know what I mean? Because he was just looking for a thrill at that point, right? Yeah. So he's just looking for a thrill. He goes on the ride along, and then he sees one of his least successful dropout shithead fucking kids that he taught in his entire career. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yo, I could do this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when it's kind of like when you see Craig do comedy, it's like, oh, dude, fucking, I could do that shit.
That's because I'm good and I make it look so easy. Uh-huh. Thanks for the compliment, Ozzy. Appreciate that.
Of course.
Love you, baby.
Oh my God, I got two of the biggest shitheads on the show today. It's great. It's honestly, I really miss you shitheads. Like, it's so like crazy. Not like
me too, buddy.
With you guys like every fucking day. It's crazy. But yeah, that's true. Like, you know, I think honestly, both of your sides share some pretty sound logic. Like, you know, on one hand, even if it was like dangerous, he's like, I'm going to fucking die. Yeah. So who cares? Who cares if I even get caught? What the fuck? Just give them the money and then I go and then it's over. Like, you know, and then they can just be like, you know, they can figure it out. They can figure out get a lawyer to do some bullshit, which they did.
Yeah.
And then also he's just like, my entire life, I've just kind of been shafted. And I like, you know, I've never really been given a fair shake at this. This could be my opportunity to like kind of do something like fun and significant and exciting before I check out. Like it's
and it doesn't get into it till the later seasons, but then you find out like he had a stake in that company that ended up being worth billions of dollars. So like I'm sure he feels like, you know, he he missed out on that.
I think that's a big part of it. I think honestly, I kind of think that's most of it. And honestly, as you like dive deeper into the show, you see that they literally said, "Hey man, you can like come on. This money is like as much yours as it is ours." Like they said that. They said that to him, but his pride kind of got in the way. But he confused his pride as like, you know, like some stupid shit. Like he honestly, everything that happened to Walter White was because of Walter White. Like he could have gotten that money, and you know, like they literally offered to pay for his medicine. They offered to pay, like, and it wasn't like gonna be some Groupon fucking chemotherapy. It was gonna be like liquid gold Velveeta chemotherapy, man. It was gonna be some amazing shit. Jesus.
Some Magic Johnson shit, bro. Come on.
Yeah, like it's literally like this is like from the people that kept Magic Johnson alive. We give you chemotherapy. Like it's fucking serious. The fact that like he didn't take that deal, and that he was like, you know what, I just want to cook. Like everything that happened was because of him. Like everything that happened, it was all on his shit. It's just
well also too like he's doing the thing that he's arguably the best at in the world, whether it's cooking meth or whatever. If you're the best in the world at something, you're gonna want to do it, whether it's, you know, baseball or something, making an illegal drug. If you're better at it than anyone else, you want to do it. So I get that too.
I definitely understand that, like, you know, but yeah, it's also something that literally puts him and his family at risk.
Yep. Oh, I'm not saying he's not a bad person, because he definitely.
No. Yeah, I hope that isn't the argument here. I hope no one, like, we have some arguments later in the show that we're going to get into that are going to be pretty heavy. I don't think anyone is like. Everyone's kind of team Walter White to some degree, but they're not like team Walter White is just a really good, upstanding citizen. Like, I don't think that's.
Of course not.
I fucking hope not. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into our next subtopic of the show, which is who was the best antagonist in the series and why was it Gustavo Fring? Like, I swear, like, you know, there's some other good, like, antagonists. Let's see, Salamanca, like old Salamanca, he's great. And I love when they kind of get more into his story in Better Call Saul, which we'll be discussing in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
we have to. If we're gonna do this, we have to do that. It's like yin and yang, Laverne and Shirley, like, you know, Timon and Pumbaa. Like, we have to. I would say, especially when it comes to Gustavo Fring, not only was he a great bad guy, but his whole story, everything that motivates him, it's way more important than what's going on with everyone else. Like his whole story, they literally could have just made, like, Better Call Saul is great, but honestly, like, I could have done with more Gustavo. I could have used even more. Like, I could have used way more.
I feel like that was the plan too, was to do more, because I rewatched the whole series before I agreed to do this with you, or after I did. And there's a scene where they talk about, like, when the Don doesn't kill him, he kills his buddy, and he's like, "I only spared your life because I know who you are," which is like you think would have something to do back living in. He wasn't Venezuelan or I think he's Chilean. You think it would have something to do with that, and then they just never explain what it is, which is like a huge bummer, because cool backstory.
It's very interesting
to him. Yeah.
True. I liked how Gustavo, I liked how like just straight like logical he was. He was like, look, man, this is what works, this is what happens, this is what needs to happen, and this is what needs to keep happening for this to keep happening. Like, he doesn't stray from. I liked how methodical and just strict and stern he was with his entire operation. And I mean, if you ever do want to run a drug cartel, just take notes, you know? I mean,
seriously though. I mean, his level of like attention to detail and his like stick up the assness and like his just level of like even that like Pollo Hermanos, like most men, okay, I've like worked at like crappy like fast food places,
Yep.
usually
Yep.
they don't make you call them like Mr. like whatever, Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just like Jeff, maybe sir, sometimes
Yeah.
like if you're in trouble or something like that.
Like
it's like not that fucking serious.
Yeah,
But-
like for some reason, like in this universe, Pollos Hermanos is just Mexican Chick-fil-A. Like they're just so fucking nice there.
Yes, exactly. That's so perfect. That it really is a Mexican Chick-fil-A. That's, God damn it, that's really good. But yeah, like his level of like professionalism, even in the chicken joint, which is just a front, but he considers it a legitimate business because it is. Like with all the money that he's making for meth, like he also does like probably create a serious profit from just his chicken.
Yeah. You can make a great living off of your chicken chain, and then you're just using it as a front for your drug infrastructures. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, and then here was the coolest part too, is like he was not afraid to show face, you know, like he was a very avid member of his community, and like he was very active and, you know, just donating money to the DEA in general at that point.
That was so
I mean,
he's literally friends with the cops. He's
Yeah.
friends with the cops.
bro, that's how you do it though. I mean, like, shit.
It worked.
Yeah.
If like
I mean,
he
well,
had,
it worked until it didn't work. But
yeah, I mean, but honestly, it's only because in his entire plan he had one flaw, and that he saw like how good of a cook that Walter White was.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, but he even said like, but in their first meeting, he was like, I don't think this is going to be a good fit. Like, you're a very professional individual. You're very good at what you do, but your partner is the one who worries me, and he's going to fuck up this whole thing. He literally came to our fucking meeting high. I can't have this, man. Don't come to my house and hire. You out of your fucking mind? Like, don't do this. Like, honestly, you're unprofessional because you work with him. The company you keep says a lot about.
Dude, it's it's like running the light of meth dealers. Like, you just can't do that. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're getting 2-minute warning, bro. What's happening? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the most unbelievable thing about the show to me too, is that they made such a big deal about the quality of the meth that he cooked, because it's like meth. Apparently, they had never met meth heads because they don't give a shit about the quality.
Yeah, they don't.
They're buying hillbilly crank made in bathtubs. So like that they have this 98% pure meth that they need to make. It's like, you don't need to do that. Like, I mean, I guess if you're, I don't know, that was always weird to me.
It was like, at least in like the movie American Gangster, like when he sold like superior meth, he also sold it like at half a price as the competition. So no, it wasn't meth. It was heroin. Yeah, pardon. But yeah, he sold the heroin, Blue Magic, put it in a little thing, but then he sold it at like, it was better than the competition and it was half the price. Yeah. Like, you know, their stuff, like they actually like raised the market price like several times throughout the series. So it was crazy that anyone was like, you know, someone was like, I could just buy cheaper meth and buy more of the cheaper meth and like still not have to pay as much as like you motherfuckers are charging. Okay. Like I want Walmart meth. Like I don't want, like, I don't have as much experience with like, you know, addicts or like meth heads or anything like that. So.
Oh my God. You guys just never done good math. That's all it is.
I haven't. I've done other stuff. I'm cool. I'm cool, Ozzy. I'm cool. I know I have like resting resident assistant face, but okay.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna be my receptionist in 2 years. Pick up the phone, Carter.
Whatever. Okay. I am an awesome guy. But yeah, that was his flaw. Was that like he like believed and really put a whole huge stake into like Mr. White, like, and it was a mistake. It was just like there are other people. Yeah. He already had a chemist. He had a chemist that was doing a really good job. That guy was like a geek, like, and he, you know, it was like I think their stuff was at like 85%.
Yeah, he had the guy who could make 96% pure meth or whatever. Yeah, the guy Gale.
Gale. It was just fine the way it was. Like, don't fix what ain't broke. And you know,
Yeah, and I felt like his death was definitely that one was like just definitely the most unnecessary one. And like, I mean, I think the way they even make, like, even just the cinematography of that scene, like they really like they put the knife in and twist that shit, you know what I mean? And they really they really show Jesse's initial regret, and like he knows he has to do it, but he just really, really doesn't want to, but it's for the greater good.
I think honestly, like he's a pretty reasonable person, and he doesn't just kill to kill. Like
Right.
does it? There needs to be a reason. I think there is a world that exists where he would have been like, you know what? This guy's probably gonna die in a couple years anyway. I really don't even give a fuck. I just want him out of my business.
Fun fact, Jesse Pinkman was actually written, he was supposed to be killed off before the end of season 2, and people just actually really resonated with him, so they kept him on the show.
That is so
the show itself was only supposed to last one season. Everyone was going to die. When they initially wrote the show, Vince Gilligan had written it, so everyone died at the end, and it was only going to be one season, but it got so popular.
That'd be rowdy. That'd be rowdy, because the phenomenon that it is, if it were just one season and just Death Note that shit, like, oh man, that'd be.
That would have been like, I mean, like,
Would it be better?
I don't know about better.
No,
I don't know about better. So. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten.
You get 5 seasons to develop the character, so definitely
is
better the way they did it, I think.
Yeah, I think it was they made the right call, like keeping it going for a while. But it definitely would have made it like maybe even slightly more legendary. I mean, we still talk about Freaks and Geeks and shows like Firefly to this day that only lasted one season and felt like we all kind of feel like they didn't get their fair shake. Like to this day, like Nathan Fillion has done 8 more shows,
and they're all terrible, and they're all bad.
They're all really bad. Yeah, they're all.
Firefly ruled. I love that show. Unabashedly love that show to death.
Oh my god, I can't
believe it was just so good. It was so good. Such a good show.
Yeah, it was unfair. But
did you ever see Big Mouth?
I don't watch that show. I've seen a couple episodes of it. I'm not.
Well, because they just got this whole funny arc where one of the girls has a crush on Nathan Fillion, and they call each other Firefly and shit. That's why I was laughing right now when y'all were talking.
That is so funny. That's really funny. Okay, I might like give that show.
Check it out. It's cool.
It's just my issue with that show is that it's just a little weird. I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea of just watching a cartoon about like preteens going through puberty. Like it's just a little. But I feel that's the whole show, right?
See, I feel like the thing about it is like it's supposed to be relatable because we all went through that shit. Like there's some cringe stuff where it's like, oh man, how do I talk to this girl? And like you at that point in your life, like nobody really knows how to do it, so you just go and do it, and then you fucking shit the bed, and it's I don't know. I like the show. It's cool.
Like on some levels, that's like relatable, but
like if you're, I feel like if you're just not creepy about it, like if you're not sitting there getting a hard on, then I think you're okay. I mean, yeah.
Then why are you watching the show, Ozzy? I don't understand why.
Dude, lefty reversies, bro. Got to work the triceps. Come on.
He's really into cuties now. That's his new thing that he's watching.
Oh, dude, that's creepy, bro. Don't even. Oh, no, dude. People are putting clips of that online, and it's just fucking. That's weird, bro. That shit. That's not even. Yeah. That's not even about like puberty or nothing. That's just. I don't know.
It's PG-13 porn for pedophiles.
Yeah, it's fucking softcore. It's weird as shit, dude. But anyways, fucking yeah, man. Gustavo's fucking awesome. No.
Yeah, he is. He's really is like the best. Honestly, calling him the antagonist is a little bit hard. As far as like the rising action goes, it is pretty much what he is. He is someone who is getting in the way of the protagonist. And for this, even as much of an anti-hero as Walter White and Jesse are, they are indeed the heroes of the show.
Yeah.
They are the
main. They're the protagonists. They're the main character, which that's all a protagonist is the main character of a story. They're both antagonists too. Like everyone in the show is an antagonist, but I like the Nazis a lot too. I thought they were like really good villains. If you had more time with them, I think they could have been as good.
Of course, Craig likes the Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean, that was going to be my next question. That was going to be the next subtopic of the show.
Why does Craig like swastika so much?
Just a really cool design. It's very symmetrical.
If you flip it over, it's actually meant to say peace, but whatever.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that one.
Guys, if you're enjoying the show and love everything that we're putting out there, all of our geeky commentary on the show Breaking Bad, then you should definitely send us money. We love it. We enjoy it. Whenever people are like, hey, like, money can't buy you happiness, that's so stupid. Money can like pay your rent, and when you don't live under a bridge, that makes you very happy. Also, please, help out your local homeless person. But anyway, if you want to just help us for donations, you can send them at Venmo at BL Comedy or on the Cash App. That's a big $, Big Laugh Comedy. All of the money will be split between the talent and the production crew. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. So I'm a second-grade teacher that works from home now. It's really great and rewarding, except for the times when it isn't. I was today years old when I realized I'm not very tech savvy. How do I start the Zoom chat? What do you mean I'm not looking at the camera? What do you mean I'm not? That's the camera? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What about now? Can you hear me? It's a touch screen and I'm touching it, so it should do something. Seriously need a drink. And I need to go to the bathroom. What do you mean my mic is on? Oh, hey kids, hey. I really need to pick me up.
Elevate is great for relieving stress, preventing hangovers, and even enhancing your mood. It has 0% THC, it's calorie-free, and it works in minutes. If you're feeling stressed or wound up, or you just want to feel better overall, then try Elevate.
All right, kids, well, thank you so much for being so patient with me. You are all my little troopers. I'll tell you, happier times are on the way. Now we're going to learn about the Spanish Inquisition.
And use code PLC at checkout to get 15% off all products.
All right, everyone, and we are back. All right, so we are going to go ahead and jump right into our next topic, the third topic of the day, which is, was SKYLAR White an unreasonable bitch?
How do you say yes times a million? Is there like a proper nomenclature?
Could you give me a second, Ozzy? Could you give me just 1 second, please? Just before you do your thing, could just let me. Can I talk? Can I talk, please? That'd be great if I.
Whose show is this again? Whose show?
Yeah. Geek'd Out, okay. There's a whole thing. It's like
this isn't in the meantime.
I'm Ozzy and I'm bald. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my position on this. I feel when I first watched this show, when it came out in, let's see, was it 2007 or 2008? It doesn't matter. When I first watched this show, I was like, the whole time, I thought that SKYLAR White was a bitch. I was like, Jesus, what the fuck is her problem? It's not even that big a deal, okay? He's just selling and making drugs. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? That was my position back then. But then I rewatched the show years later into my 30s. I'm in my 30s now, and I rewatched the show. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Everything that she went through was like not fair. It's absolutely not fair. So my humble opinion on this is that I do not, under any circumstances, feel that SKYLAR was an unreasonable bitch. I think she definitely had her moments where she fucked up and she maybe went too far and she did things that she shouldn't have. But there's a timeline to this, people. None of those things would have happened if like Walter White hadn't done what he done. All right. If he had just just gotten the chemotherapy from his friends and just fought as much as he could, then they would have just had a nice boring life together with their boring selves and their kind of boring son. And it just would have been boring. And it would have been boring for however long that Walter lives. But he decided that he wanted to up the ante. And because of that, her rising action got worse and increasingly worse. She got more and more into the situation, which I don't think any wife would want. What was done to her, I think in most cases, that's how most women would have reacted. Some women would have just immediately went to the police easily. I think so. Well, Well, I can tell that someone has an opinion on this, so we're gonna go to Craig first. Craig, what do you think, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
Thank you.
She was put in a pretty untenable situation. The nagging gets obnoxious. But yeah, she's protecting her kids. She's got a family. Her husband's cooking meth, killing a bunch of people.
Yes.
She earned the right to nag a little bit. And she's not half as much of a bitch as her dumb sister. Marie was way worse.
Okay,
every time she was on screen, I
literally
couldn't stand that woman.
The sister is such a bitch, and honestly,
she's awful.
At this juncture, I do not care if I get canceled for saying that. I don't even think that would even happen. Okay, honestly, there is no feminist. There is no hardcore feminist in the entire world that would disagree with me on that. Okay, the most white feminist ever would be like, yeah, no, we don't mean her. Okay, like we say believe women, but like not that bitch. Like fuck her. Like she's awful, but also believe other women.
Yeah.
And the actress is fine. She did a great job being an annoying pain in the ass. Okay.
She wrote that. That's what the role called for, and she nailed
it. And she did it really well. She actually really did a good job. When I saw her, she was going to be in that Michael J. Fox show, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a watch. It did not work out.
Yeah.
But it
she's a fantastic actress. Yeah.
Very, very talented. Very, very talented.
She's been
all right. You're both wrong as fuck. Okay.
What? Ozzy Moon disagrees? What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
I'll tell you why.
Because
some women would go directly to the cops, but some women would fucking play ball. Okay. And SKYLAR played ball, and you got to go all the way. You can't half-ass this meth shit. You know what I mean? Like, she was like, oh, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to feel bad about it, so I feel better about myself when we eventually get arrested. Like, shut the fuck up, man. You take the money. You're laundering it. You fucking play ball, SKYLAR, you dumb bitch. Jesus
she played ball because she felt like she had to. She felt like she had to protect her husband.
Go to the cops. If you don't, as soon as you don't go to the cops and you take you take a penny from this man, you're in it too, and you fucking play ball. Play ball.
My argument is that she took pennies from this man and she did this. But honestly, any time they spent over like $4, she like fucking lost her shit because they have to act like everything's normal. They had to act like it like, honestly, let me tell you something, folks. Selling drugs at their level, at least, is not worth it. Don't do it. Like, if you're just making little bit of money off of a couple dime bags, whatever. But the laundering makes it so, the fact that you have to launder money.
Oh, yeah.
Makes it not worth it.
I'm going to take drug dealing advice from Stretched Out Urkel. Come on, dude. Get out of here.
Okay. What? Get it. Well, yeah. that is my MO. That's what I do. But I will tell you, man, I honestly just feel that she was between a rock and a hard place, Ozzy. I feel she got put in a very difficult position, and it's all of it is 100% because of what Walter did. Okay.
For sure. I'll say that it's definitely Walter's fault. But again, you take that, you take it and you start helping him. You're in it, baby. Play, just fucking do it.
That doesn't mean that she has to be in it with silence. Like,
she got to run the game.
Man. She can't be upset. She can't be like, if
you
can't
do any of this. No. It was just kind of dropped in her lap. Like, oh yeah, my husband's a meth king. Yesterday he was a retired school teacher with lung cancer.
I don't know. I feel like if a friend like let's say that I was like let's say that I was like too drunk to go home. And like I called you, Ozzy. I called you, Ozzy, to come and pick me up and like get me home. If it was like really far and you like had to go all the way out of your way, I would expect you to kind of bitch a little bit. I would expect you to bitch and moan and be like, man, this is taking time out of my day. You got me fucked up out here, Carter. Like, but I'm gonna get you. I would expect you to get me. But I would be like, I would also expect a little bit of like backlash and be like, and then you kind of maybe give me some shit a couple days after. Hey, bitch, remember when you were too drunk to fucking drive home, you stupid bitch? Okay. You don't even know how to drink and drive right, you loser. Like,
yeah, dude, drink and drive right, bro. Come on. Jeez.
I would expect that. So I don't understand why that is okay. But when she still supports him and helps him launder the money and does all of these things and like takes on the role of the bitch and doesn't tell Walt Jr. what's going on. She could have told him. She could have told Walt Jr. But she knew that if she told Walt Jr., he would freak out and it would be this whole thing. But she was like, you know what? He'll just hate me. He'll just hate me.
There's an episode where like she's gonna blow the whole thing up, and Walt lays it out for her in that, I can't remember which episode it is, but he's like, what are you gonna do? And like every argument she comes up with, he just comes up with a counterpoint, like, oh,
yeah,
so
I remember that episode.
You're married to a meth king. You know, he just lays like she's basically blowing up her life. If he does, so it would completely, she's put in a shit position, and I guarantee that if there was if she saw a way to like just totally like just blow this up and tell, like I think maybe she would have done it, but she couldn't. She really couldn't. She felt she's not
trapped.
A master. She's a genius like Walt who could just figure out a weird way out of it by killing a bunch of people. You know, she's a housewife. She's literally just a housewife.
She's smart in some things, like she's good with the numbers, but she was really able to like help out with this laundering because she's good with that's what she did at her
They buy
job.
the car wash.
They buy the car wash. She helped buy the car because that like guy at the car wash insulted her, but then also insulted Walt, and they both were like, oh no, we're not gonna have that. We're gonna go and get we're gonna get this motherfucking car wash. This one. We're gonna get this one.
Yeah.
And you know what, Ozzy, I have an argument video for you. I made this just for you, buddy. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into that video right now. Thank you.
6 reasons that SKYLAR White was actually not a huge bitch in the show Breaking Bad. Number 1, she found out that Walt was lying to her for months, still stayed with him until he recovered from his surgery. Number 2, she took on the role of a bitch in lieu of telling her son what her dad was really up to. Number 3, she did everything in her power to keep Ted in line because she knew that if the IRS came for Ted, it would only be a matter of time before they came for her and Walt. Number 4, she helped Walt launder his money. She took Walt's old job at the car wash and turned it into a family business for drug money. In doing so, forfeiting her plausible deniability, meaning that if Walt ever gets caught, she can no longer play the lost girl in the woods routine. Number 5, she betrayed her sister and Hank. She helped Walt make that video, throwing Hank completely under the bus, knowing that her sister would probably never forgive her. And number 6, she didn't snitch. She could have blown the whistle on this whole operation at any point. This whole show could have been over by the end of season 2. But when you love someone, and you truly love someone, it's not that simple. And those are my 6 reasons that SKYLAR White from Breaking Bad was not actually a bitch. Suck it, Ozzy Moon.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much my argument. I expect a rebuttal. I respect a rebuttal, and I'm ready for it. Go ahead. If either of you have one, it's fine. Like,
man, you and I are on the same page, Carter. But that's both because we're intelligent people. Ozzy, your take. Fine, go ahead.
Garbage.
Well, look, I guess it's because I'm used to dating cholas, so like they'll just play ball. You know what I mean? Like they're used to that kind of stuff. I guess I didn't take the ethnic differences, but but I mean, yeah, it does fall on her lap, and she could easily just grab the kid, go to the cops, and just snitch. Even if she can't prove it, she gets away from him and all this stuff. Like, I mean, there was plenty of different ways to get out of it than to just play half-ass ball and fucking.
I don't think it's that easy of a thing to do because she's ruining her kid's life. They're fucked forever. They're gonna take all that money. She's gonna it's gonna be known in town. She's blowing up her whole life. It's easier to just lie to her kid than to let him know. Oh yeah, your dad's a drug kingpin, by the way.
I mean, honestly, what you're talking about, Ozzy. Yes, she did have that option, but would it really be that easy for you to do that to like your loved one, like your spouse? Say your spouse was doing all of this shit. I mean, I don't know. I can't say with a straight face and with full confidence that I would just be like, you know what? Yeah, there he is. Go get him. Go get him.
Here was my thing. Why did they buy a car wash? Why didn't they just buy a boat? Just buy a boat and dip out. You know what I mean? Like they could have bought so much other shit than a fucking car wash. They could have bought a
car wash.
They were trying to launder the money. Yeah,
I know, but I mean, like,
pretty,
get out of there.
Explicitly.
I mean, that could have been something. They could like they were buying like I know he went and bought the kid a car and then he made him take it back and then he bought it again, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean,
that whole scene, that was funny. Him having a little bitch fit and like, fucking up the car. Like
that was awesome.
That was really awesome. That was pretty badass. But it was also like, man, you fucking little you petty ass motherfucker. Like, God damn it. Now you have to get a taxi home. Like, are you happy with yourself?
It does suck, though, man. To imagine having like millions and millions of dollars and you just can't spend it. I mean, it's the same as being broke. I get it. That sucks.
Yeah, honestly, like, I'm way more comfortable being broke. I've been broke my entire adult life.
Same here.
I've never just had like a obscene amount of money. Like, it's just never in it, and it probably never will happen. But like the level of like what rich people have to, I guess everyone's life is hard, like the level of like what rich people have to do to like hide some of their money. Like, even if it's just like not just hiding it from their cops or like maybe hiding it from their spouse. So that way when they leave, like they don't like take all that shit, like Cayman Islands and all that sort of shit. It's so much. It literally makes it not worth it, guys. Kids, I'm telling you, dealing drugs is not worth it. Okay. Like, don't do it. Okay. Like,
you don't want to deal drugs. You want to distribute. That's
right. Distribute.
You want to be the distributor. You don't want to be the dealer.
Boom. That's the more you know.
Drugs and you're fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any of that shit.
I don't know. My closing argument for this is that the things that she did for this family, but then also the things that she did to this family on both levels were very unfair, and she just was put in a horrible position. And because of how I am now, because of what I see women like going through, I'm like, man, this was like kind of like, this is low key abuse. Like, this was like not okay. Yeah. Like in my 20s, I would have been right there with you, Ozzy. I would have been there. I would have been like, man, fuck that bitch. She ain't shit. She a hoe. Dumb white bitches, man, they ain't shit. Yada, 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 man, they out here. They are fucking Karen's shit. Like, I would have been right there. I was for years. If I hadn't rewatched the show, like after all of these years of it being over, like I honestly would have been right on your side of this. But then we also wouldn't have had this episode. Like, I literally had this episode. Like, Craig, I'm happy to have you on it, but I literally did this episode just so I could argue with you, Ozzy Moon.
Just for me.
Argue about this. Yeah.
Well, my closing argument, Walter's wife is a big fat bitch. She's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. Okay.
Here's the thing. She doesn't come out of this good. It's not like she like.
No.
You see what her life
anyway, so why not just do it at the beginning?
You see what her life becomes.
Happen.
Like the fucking pussy you are. Come on,
she didn't know that was going to happen, Ozzy. She had no idea that was like, she didn't know. Like, she definitely didn't know that, like, she didn't know that Walter was going to kill Hank. I mean, he didn't kill Hank. It was like the fucking like Nazi people. But like he was directly responsible for it. He was directly responsible for his death. It was all his fault. But also, there are a couple things that I think we can all agree on. One is that the sister was a goddamn worst. Two, that the son was also kind of the worst. Walt Jr. was a real pain in the ass, and it's not because he is handicapped. Respect handicapped people. Please do not disrespect them, unless they're an asshole.
Well, I mean, that didn't help. But it wasn't just.
Yeah, I know, dude. What the hell?
But also, I think we can all agree that that Hank, Uncle Hank, good old Uncle Hank, took this way too seriously. Like, he really invested. He could not, before he even knew that the people that were making the balloon meth were Walt. He just, this was very personal for him, and I think that's what got him killed. I honestly think that's what was his ultimate demise, is that he couldn't let it go. They were gonna send him to El Paso again. They were like, "Hey, you need to go to El Paso." They're like his boss. I love the boss Hank's boss. He wasn't like that, like one guy that's like, here, I'll tell you what. But he kind of looked like that guy. But he was like, "You need to go to El Paso. Are you going or not?"
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't let this go. This particular case is very personal for me, and I have to catch.
Well, and he was also terrified. He saw what the cartels were doing. Like they'll kill DEA agents. They don't care. So he was really scared. He didn't want to go back to El Paso.
Yeah,
there was a lot of going on there. Yeah,
that's real shit, bro. Like a lot of people really don't, like you see a scene of that with the fucking head on the turtle and fucking the explosion or whatever and all that. So like that's like, I mean, because I'm from El Paso, and so we would hear all of these crazy, like, I mean, when it was the big cartel drug wars in 2010, like 2012, somewhere around there. Like at one point, Juarez, Mexico was the murder capital of the world.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've heard that.
And El Paso's right there. You could see it. Like you could walk to Juarez. Like you could walk right to it.
No, thank you. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I like growing up on the other border. It was
strip clubs are
safer.
It seems safer here as far as like body and self, like personal being goes. Just rather be.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about that. I think, Hank, I think he should have let it go, especially, honestly, the second that he found out that, Walter was, Heisenberg. I think what he should have done is he should have went to, his boss's desk, and he should have, just put down his badge and put out his gun and said, I quit. I can't do this anymore. For personal reasons, I feel that I think
at that point when he found out, he was the head guy in the DEA, right? When
he could have
yeah, he had gotten the promotion already.
Yeah, once he found out Walt was the guy, he was the dude.
I know. I guess. Yeah, but I mean, there's still someone you could put your gun and badge down to.
The way he couldn't go out like that. That would be like, how bad that would have looked for him if they find out it was him later. And then he's like, "Oh, this guy's brother-in-law was in charge of this." Like he couldn't. There's no way. He was.
Yeah.
That's what made him a good cop. Was that?
That would have been hard. Yeah, that's true. I guess at that point he did kind of have to really go after it. God.
Yeah.
That realization at the end when he realized he's on the toilet.
Oh, so the whole scene is so awesome.
Like it's right up there when Sally Field realizes that Robin Williams' character is actually indeed Mrs. Doubtfire. Like this. They have been there for months. Months.
That's a really good comparison.
Oh,
You're the kids. I would be terrified. Oh my God.
Oh, dude.
It's so fucking, like her reaction in that. Like sometimes Sally Field be overacted. Like that was like the right amount of fucking acting, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. The whole time?
That was awesome.
The whole time? Like, fuck up, bro.
It's been a minute since I've seen Mrs. Doubtfire.
Not okay. Oh,
Alan was Santa Claus? What?
What the fuck, man? That was a crazy scene. Okay, all right. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and move on to our fourth and final topic of the evening, which is: did Jesse deserve to get away with all that he's done? You know what?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and let you guys go first. I'll start with Ozzy. We haven't started with Ozzy too many times.
I would just say yeah, just because at the end there, I mean, he fucking okay. Again, everything that happens in this show is just a ripple effect of what Walter is doing. Now, I mean, did the kid he was put in a fucked up situation because he's already the criminal, and it's not like he can just go and snitch on himself, so he's like, fuck, I got it. Jesse Pinkman played ball, and you played ball and he got out. You did haha, catch me if you can, motherfucker.
It's true. Yeah.
Shit.
That's fair. Yeah, he did. I mean, I will even go as far, Ozzy, to say that as bad as Walter treated SKYLAR, he treated Jesse 1,000 times worse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
SKYLAR only got the little brunt of it in comparison to what Jesse Pinkman went through in that fucking show. The things that were done to him, his girlfriend dying.
Yeah, like Walter just let her die. Walter just let her OD.
That was so fucked up. That was one of the most fucked up things that they did on that show.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, now we'll go to you, Craig. What about you, sir?
Yeah, he deserves to get away with it, man. That kid went through. That was one of the great things about this show is that you see Jesse go from just like a punk kid to a man who's been through a whole bunch of shit. Yes. And the way they play that out was great. And yeah, he goes through more than anyone by a long shot and has to live with it. And you can see him living with his guilt. And and then he watches his girlfriend get shot in the head at the end. I mean, that guy went through. That's why I know we're probably not supposed to be talking about El Camino, but I'm going to bring. I mean, that was
it's fine. Go ahead.
The best part of that movie was just seeing him get a little bit of redemption at the end.
Yes.
Because they just leave him hanging at the end, like he's just driving away in a car, like laughing maniacally, like, oh, okay, now what? What's you had no resolution to how his story came to an end.
I would say that like Camino wasn't like the greatest. It was fine. Honestly, it was worth watching. First of all, just Netflix. You don't lose any money.
It was a good add-on.
Popcorn, It was a good little add-on, and it was just a good. I love closure. I am a big fan of closure. In whatever the circumstance, I want to see how it all plays out, and for him to know that he's okay, and that his parents and brother are okay, and that the kid is okay, and that he's he's gone. He can put all of this behind him if he chooses to. I hope he does. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's like, I'm fucking done. I'm done. I'm gonna work for I'm gonna work for a Pizza Hut and make like $12 an hour, and that will just be how my life is. Whatever. Yeah. Maybe I'll go to college. I don't know. I don't care. But I'm done with this.
He gets a chance to redeem himself. Because he was the only person who struggled with it. The whole Walt was fine doing all the shit he did. Like it didn't bother him a bit. Jesse really struggled with everything that he did, especially after the episode where he killed Gail. Like that fucked him up for 2 seasons after. It was like you watched him struggle with everything that he had to do with the show.
He didn't even want Walter to do that. And then finding out that he has to do it himself.
And the loyalty that he still had to Walter, even after all the shit he did to him, he wouldn't let Gus kill him. You know what I mean? He's still it didn't happen till the very end when he found out which I still don't understand the whole cigarette thing, how he knew that was the reason
because he got pickpocketed because he just knew that guy was a pickpocketer. He just didn't think about it at the time. When Huel bumped into him, he was at the time he was just like, what, you got a fucking problem, bro? What's your deal? Get the fuck off me.
Yeah, but I didn't get how that led to him knowing that, Walt poisoned that kid. Even if he pickpocketed the cigarettes.
I don't know. Well, he had already had suspicions. He already had suspicions.
He almost killed him over it.
He literally shoot him. He felt terrible, because he felt like, oh man, I really And then Walter putting it in the Roomba, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. That was so smart. Yep. That was a good idea on his part.
It's funny too, because Jesse's an addict, and when I was using a lot, there's a saying when you go to AA and NA meetings, that's a junkie will. How does that go? A drunk will steal your wallet. Yeah. A junkie will steal your wallet and then help you look for it, which is basically
Oh, great. Yeah. One of the great scenes is that where Jesse starts just digging a hole.
Yeah. In the front lawn when he's trying to get the meth heads to come up. Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't aware of that type of behavior. Wasn't aware that if someone just starts digging a hole in your yard, you'll just be like, hey man, what the fuck are you doing? I would just be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Because he's just like, you know what I'm looking for. I was like, what do you why? He's like, you know why? And he's like, oh.
So it's perfect. It really is. But I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like we're all kind of in agreement. He deserved to get away.
Yeah.
He deserved to get away for this because, what happens at everything since the beginning of the show that happened to him was so unfair. First of all, he got his ass whooped like more times than I can count. Like he got so many black eyes in that fucking show. Jesus, every season he would get his ass whooped. Like it was really bad.
I mean, Hank almost killed him, like almost beat him to death.
That was really like not okay. Like that wasn't even what, like he didn't even do it. He didn't even call like his, that was, God. When Walter,
well, again, that's a result of Walt's actions getting him almost beaten to death.
To death. Almost to death. Yep. Like when he called, like, man, that was like, when he like got the receptionist from like Better Call Saul to like fucking call and say, hey, your wife is in ER, like that.
I mean, it's a brilliant move, but it's real fucked up too.
I like, this whole story like is just another like sort of classic story of Walter like going to a place where he believes that he's gone too far. Except in this case, every single thing that he does, he actually has gone too far, and he really can't go back. There is no redemption at any point for Walter White. I'm glad that like Jesse got his though. Yeah. It's just man, it's God. Yeah. So I'm really glad that he got away. I wish that like, things could have turned out different for like his girlfriend at the time. I don't think he like loved her as much as he did like his other girlfriend. I think he did care for her very much, and he definitely did want to like see her like do better, and like he cared for Brock a great deal. So
that was just man, the last season of that show had so many just like they would just flip the switch on, like they just walk up to the house and shoot this chick in the head, and there's no real warning to it. Like you know they're there, but you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, this show is the king of.
I mean, honestly, they could have like gotten the point across just by going to the door,
right? Like saying, "Hey, we know where she lives.
We know where she lives. We know where she lives, and we know where her son lives. We definitely know where her son lives. He ain't got no job. Okay, we'll kill them both. And if you think we're fucking with you, we're not going to kill you." Like when they chased him down with flashlights, no intention of killing him. Like just come on, do it. There's no way I'm cooking you crazy.
You're going to slaughter your cow that shit's gold.
You don't kill the golden goose. You don't do that. Like, they were making more money than they have ever imagined. Like it's just like
that's so crazy because they find the barrels too. What did they find out in that? Was it like $80 million? And they're just you're good. No, let's make more. Let's put ourselves in this. So they get what they deserve, and they all get gunned down too.
Awesome. That last scene.
It's fantastic.
That last scene where like he takes the gears and stuff from a garage door opener. And uses it on an AK or whatever and just sprays them out. Even though he hits himself and gets himself killed, that was still pretty fucking brilliant. And then
he didn't care if he died at that point.
He already knew he was going to die. He wasn't worried about that at all. I think he was like, I'd rather die here than spend even one day in prison for this fucking bullshit. And the fact that he fucking gets and the fact that Jesse gets that Tad kid.
He chokes. Oh yeah, it's awesome.
That was beautiful. That was a beautiful moment. Like violence is bad and it never solves anything except for when it does. That was really good.
Jesus.
I mean, people don't talk about it that much today. One of the truly satisfying final episodes in a TV show, especially for one that had because that show was like Game of Thrones times 10 before Game of Thrones was even a thing, and the Game of Thrones ending sucks so bad.
I haven't watched that show. Don't ruin it. I might. Some girlfriend that I date will force me to watch that show. I guarantee it.
I saw the last episode of Game of Thrones. I'd never seen an episode before. I saw the last episode, and I'm like, he's gonna stab her. And then fucking everyone started yelling at me, thinking that I had seen the episode earlier. And I'm like, dude, this is the world premiere. Like, I could just I didn't even
saw everything.
I saw it coming a mile away. Like,
obvious.
If I spent 8 years watching Game of Thrones and then that ending came on, I'd be fucking pissed. I would be so mad.
I was. I don't get too upset over TV shows, but I was like, just felt very unsatisfying. Like,
it was.
I love that show.
Yeah, there's sometimes when I am very. It's
predictable.
When it's predictable. With what happened with Breaking Bad, you had no idea that was gonna transpire. That truly. I mean, to this day, I believe it is one of the highest rated last episodes of anything. I think only rivaled to the last episode of MASH. But MASH was MASH. MASH is so successful that even like us who weren't even born until like, the 80s know about fucking MASH.
That was like the first show to really grab a nation's attention, from what I understand. Yeah, I don't. It's way before my time, but yeah. I mean, it's just kind of known. Like final episodes of TV shows usually suck, especially when there's a bunch of build up to them, because it's never going to meet your expectations. It's never going to be good enough because everyone else has how they think it should end. But Breaking Bad, I really felt like when that ended, I was like, okay, that was good. I have closure now, except for the shit with Jesse. But you knew they were going to do something with that anyways.
Yeah. I don't think they needed to wait like fucking 6 years.
Yeah,
but
he could have done it while the dude that he killed was still skinny. Because
that was the thing.
Put on about 50 pounds.
Honestly, if they had called me back for like the role, I mean, obviously I would have taken it, but I would have been like, hey, so I've gained a little bit of weight since 2015. Is that going to be an issue?
It was very noticeable.
Very much so.
Holy shit.
But it happens. Time passes. We're supposed to be indicating here the time did not pass. But whatever. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Literally, everyone else looked exactly the same. Jesse pretty much looked the same. The old man who was the vacuum guy. The vacuum.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
He looked exactly the same.
Yeah, he didn't change at all.
Better Call Saul, Mike looks exactly the same, and that show was like 7 or 8 years after Breaking Bad.
But I'll tell you the trick. The trick is if you get old, kind of younger, like that guy who plays Mike, he's probably looked like that since he was like
30. He's got some miles. He's got some miles on that odometer, I'm sure.
Yeah. The trick is to just keep looking that level of old forever. That's what Sean Connery is. Sean Connery has been old his whole life. Not really.
Sean Connery was born an old man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Sean Connery was like, "Can I please have some titty milk, mother?" Like I. Great. Well, guys, I think this is a perfect close to the show. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Craig, for
this is awesome. Thanks for having us on.
Ozzy Moon. I think that we covered it all. This was such a great show. I think this is one of those shows that will be remembered easily 50 years from now. After that, I don't know. But it's definitely a memorable show for me. It's definitely something that kind of shaped me as a human being. Once again, Ozzy Moon, thank you so much. Craig Fergola, thank you. Our engineer, Jose, thank you so much for helping us out. And can't forget about my boy Daniel, the producer of the show, and all of the shows at Big Laugh Comedy Network. Guys, this has been Geek'd Out. Once again, if you want to support the show and give us a little bit of money, we will take it. We'll never be like, no, fuck that $5. That would never come out of our mouths ever. For donations, please send them to Venmo at BL Comedy or on the Cash App. That's a big $, Big Laugh Comedy. All of the money will be split between the talent and the production crew. Guys, this has been Geek'd Out, and I have been Carter Anderson, and we will see you next time.